I see us.
Yay.
Do you see us?
I do.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the kind words. We are starting out with some kind words from our lovely folks. David says, Christy, hope your surgery goes well. We all love you. Jesse says, hi, guys. Christy, hope you're feeling well. Thinking of you. Thanks. Yes, I feel totally fine. My surgery is May 5th. So I think we'll probably do one more of these before then. Probably next Friday we'll do one more of these. So always a pleasure to see you guys and hang out. Hello from Atlanta, says the urban squirrel.
Wow.
One of your people.
Yes.
From Atlanta. Yeah, and thank you to Scott and David for preemptively answering the question that I always like to ask. How do we sound? Am I that predictable? I ask the same things all the time. Keith L says, so happy I'm able to actually watch this one live. We're happy that you are here. Angel, nuestro amigo Angel in España is here, says long time no see.
Hola.
Anyway, so much going on. We just did our recaps of the first 3 episodes of Andor. Are you guys watching Andor? We're watching Andor.
3 episodes at a time, because that's how Disney wanted it.
Yeah. Oh, David's also in Atlanta. Yeah. You know what? At first we were like, why are you showing us 3 at a time? It's so dense. Let us like marinate for a week. But now that I have seen all 3 at once, I understand the cinematic scope of it all.
Yeah. Basically, this season of Andor is 4 movies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like 4 3-hour movies because each episode's about an hour, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a hefty movie.
We have an inappropriate question for you, Alonso, that I will pose if you want to ask. You don't have to answer it. This is private. But someone in proof wants to know, Christy, can you tell me if Alonso and Dave are in an open marriage? I don't think you are, but that's so personal.
Wow. Welcome to None of Your Business Corner.
I am also not in an open marriage.
Okay, then.
Good to see you guys. Kelly Robb says, hey, a little late, but here. Yes, Teddy says it's Andorable. It's so good. Yeah, All in the Game says so much discourse about the sexual assault scene. We were talking about that, how we don't think that word rape had ever been uttered in any Star Wars before.
Yeah. And it's not great that it's this character who's already been tortured in season 1, like that we have to kind of keep dumping this stuff on her. But, you know, this is the grown-up Star Wars show, you know, and they deal with things and they call the things by their name. So
yeah, Nick commented on that Bix has undergone so much suffering. Like I'd forgotten about the thing with the torture with the headphones and having to hear the kids' cries.
Yeah, I mean the first time we see her this episode, she's having a nightmare about, you know, the stuff that she'd been subjected to already. So I hope she gets to do some other things this season besides suffer.
Yes, no, she is tough, and I'm glad that she and Cassian are reunited, and hopefully they can look out for each other and you know, fight together for all that is good and right. We are here for news, and besides all the cool stuff on our Patreon, which you can watch if you subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/befastalday. We are doing Andor. We are doing The Last of Us. I don't know how they're going to recover from what happened in last week's episode of The Last of Us, but
well, they, you know, everybody who plays the game wants to tell you, well, it's in the game, you know. So obviously, if the game continued, so can the show.
Yeah, for sure. What I understand is that the second season of the game is about revenge, you know, and I have to assume that there have to be some flashbacks. We have to have some more of Pedro Pascal, right? This can't be the end of Pedro Pascal.
We'll see.
Yes.
Is this the end of Rico?
Yes, we'll have to find out. So, good to see you guys. There's actual news. One of the main things that happened this week was that the Academy has made a bunch of changes in the Oscars, including the fact that they are now making voters actually watch all of the nominees in a category before voting on that category. Prior to this, it had been the honor system.
I love this idea. I'm dying to know how they're going to prove it. Like, do you have to go attend screenings now, or do you like get some code that comes up at the end of the DVD that you then have to like submit online? Like, I don't know what the process is by which you confirm that everyone has watched all 5 nominees in a category.
Well, there's a portal. There's like a platform to watch them all, and I guess maybe you have to have gotten to a certain point in it for it to register that you've seen it. So they are monitoring it on their end that you've watched it all.
Great. You make your assistant watch them. I don't know.
That's a really good point. Oh, that's such a good point. That hadn't even occurred to me.
So yeah, I don't know. They said that's coming later where they'll announce how that's going to be, what the system by which they will verify this sort of thing is. But yeah, ideologically, I'm on board with this, but I just don't know how you enforce it.
Right. And then, if you live someplace like Los Angeles or New York where they have a multitude of screenings and you can go and see it in person, and then they just say, they know that you have been there. I guess they don't know if you stay for the whole thing.
True. Yeah. You could check in and then bolt. I don't know.
Yeah, All in the Game makes a good point. People will just play it and then walk away to do something else. I hope not. I hope if you're a fucking Academy voter that you care enough to watch a whole movie.
Yeah,
maybe that's idealistic on my part.
We try our hardest to see it, all the nominated features if we can. We, don't always make it, but like we get close. I think they could make a similar effort.
Yeah. Heather Green says, isn't part of the quote unquote charm of the Oscars knowing that some members haven't seen all the movies?
Charm is doing a lot of work there, but
yeah, no, it's crazy. So I guess in the foreign language and in the documentary feature categories, there already was this rule in place where you need to have seen all of the nominees. So
oh, good. Okay. Well,
anyway,
we'll see how it plays
it's a
out.
lot. Yeah, Bill Davies, our friend Bill Davies points out, our friend and channel member Bill Davies says, aren't the Oscars also adding a casting director Oscar?
I believe that's
this time.
I think that's this time, and then the one after that is where they add the stunt one.
Yeah, and that'll be good. Yeah. I look forward to all of that. Christine says, I would take it seriously. Give me a vote. Yeah, I agree. I think there are 6,000 plus people there, and hopefully the majority of them do care enough about this that they'll find time to watch the Oscar nominees. I mean, if for nothing else, is out of curiosity, like you love film, you want to know what's everyone talking about.
Sure. Yeah. It's not like you're being made to watch, I don't know, something shitty. You know what I mean?
These are good.
Necessarily something shitty,
Yes. So we'll keep an eye on that and figure out, I wonder how that might change the kinds of things that win, So there's that. Did you see this whole thing with Ted Sarandos talking about the future of movie theaters?
Yeah, somebody posted it with the headline, Spoonmaker says forks are outdated way of eating meals.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. Yeah, him saying like, there aren't a lot of places where you can walk to the movie theater. Like maybe if you live in Manhattan, you can walk to the movie theater. And that is such a limited perspective on the way that people consume movies,
Yeah, this idea of like, well, the audience is telling us what they want, and what they want is streaming. And I'm like, maybe what they can afford is streaming, and maybe, we just had like a 2-year lockdown and stuff. But like, Ted Sarandos has no dog in the hunt of the future of theatrical exhibition. So of course he's gonna poo-poo it. But like, I think looking just this weekend at how well Sinners did as an R-rated horror movie, like all these things that I think people would have been like, oh, well, this will limit its audience. But like people went out to see it because they really wanted to see it in a theater. And and
an IMAX theater, or an IMAX theater.
Yeah, I bought a ticket to see it again this week in an IMAX 70 presentation at Universal City Walk. It was Wednesday at noon, and it was packed.
That's awesome.
A big, like this is a big ass IMAX house full. So yeah, I think there's a little more life in the old girl yet.
I think so too. And like this weekend, for example, they're putting out this 4K restoration of Pink Floyd live at Pompei. And from the negatives, they have like restructured this thing and they're showing it on IMAX screens.
Wow.
Like you get to go to a Pink Floyd concert in IMAX, kind of like the Led Zeppelin documentary and how that packed houses. And so I do think that there is a hunger for this. I do a lot of work here with the South Bay Film Society, and they show movies at one of the AMC's in Torrance. And like he will sell out, the guy who runs it will sell out 3 entire houses of whatever art house movie it is he's booked for that day, or whatever documentary it is it's booked for that day. So like people go, retirees go.
Yeah.
But something like seeing Pink Floyd in concert like that is incredible. And like, with the sound. And so I went to look because I have seen it, but Chris wanted to go see it with me. So I was looking at the show times available here, and they're packed. Like they're not totally sold out, but like all those middle seats are taken.
Does your theater sell edibles?
You don't need that.
No.
You can enjoy young, skinny, full of promise David Gilmour without that. But so if it's playing near you, you should go see it. Yeah. Joao says, I just watched it yesterday. It was amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. So that's something I wanted to mention anyway, but it is relevant to what we are talking about. So yeah, Ted Sarandos definitely has a vested interest in you not going to the movie theater. He even poo-pooed the actual physical houses that Netflix owns, the Bay Theater in LA and the Paris in New York.
Egyptian.
He's like, yeah, we got to show things there for like a week. In this beautiful theater.
But I do love the fact that like a lot of filmmakers who work for Netflix clearly like exercise the option to get a 35 millimeter print struck, because a lot of those movies wind up at the New Beverly.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it seems like a lot of the guys from the comments here are saying like, oh, hey, Katie, good to see you. They're saying, I, of course, will always go to the movies. You guys care about movies. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, does the average person who's not quite so into it as we are, like, how do they feel about going to the movies? I hear this a lot, just kind of overheard, like, oh, I haven't gone to the movies in years. I think COVID did a lot to keep people away.
For sure.
It's expensive. People are on their phones. People are rude.
No, and all that certainly can be true. But I mean, I think also the success of Minecraft speaks to like kids going to theaters, which is nice, even if they're shooting stupid TikTok videos in the middle of it,
Yes. Have any of you guys had that experience where people are like throwing stuff at the screen during Chicken Jockey? I hope so. I had a very calm audience for my Chicken Jockey moment when I saw it.
Same here. Yes.
Very well behaved. Yeah. Joao says the Pink Floyd film was made in 1972. It looks amazing. It really does. It's so cool. Anyway, even if you don't love Pink Floyd, it's still like a really cool experience. So much more to talk about. Oh, okay. Speaking of movies and movie theaters and the show The Studio, which we are recapping on our Patreon, Bill Hader is doing a series about Jonestown for HBO. Sadly, it's not called Kool-Aid.
The movie. Oh, bummer.
It's not called Kool-Aid. Steve Buscemi is not in it. Bill Hader may be starring in it, but it's so funny. The timing on this is so funny.
That's bizarre. Yeah. But I mean, Bill Hader obviously has a real interest in documentary. He's one of the creators of Documentary Now. So I guess this is going to be a docudrama about, I mean, it's a fascinating story. I remember watching that one with Powers Booth back in the 80s that came on that was chilling. And that was just like a 2-parter network television version. So I'm sure haters can go into much darker places.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what he does. If we look at his work with Barry, he definitely has those instincts for sure. Shane says, I was at Sinners opening night and one person kept clapping for 5 solid minutes like they were at Cannes. I don't think Minecraft is to blame, but decorum has taken a hit maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, generally speaking, people don't know how to behave in public. I mean, how often have you noticed lately, have you been in a waiting room where people are like watching videos on their phone or having phone conversations and not wearing earbuds?
I mean, or people just have, like speakerphone, like they're on their phone, on their speakerphone.
It's like, are we not all in this room listening to you now because you're forcing us? So yeah, I think generally speaking, decorum ain't what it used to be, but yeah, it's definitely happening in movie theaters as well.
People taking off their shoes on the airplane.
On airplanes,
or at the airport.
Well, you have to take your shoes off at the airport at one point.
No, but then like keeping them off and like putting them on top of your luggage, like you're at home with your feet up on the coffee table.
Everyone's terrible.
Everyone's terrible. Not you guys though. You guys are awesome. All in the Game says the Greta Lee and Sarah Polley episode is still the standout episode for me of The Studio. Yeah, I love that one, and I love the first one.
So although this week's is another one with an actress who is now a director.
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall.
There you
She
go.
made she made Passing.
We will recap
Yes.
later on this week's episode of The Studio. Heartstopper. Speaking of Netflix, Heartstopper is going to end after 3 seasons, but it's going to end with a feature film.
Yes, directed by Wash Westmoreland, who co-directed Still Alice and
Quinceañera.
Quinceañera, yes, and then he on his own directed Colette and 1 or 2 other things.
Yeah. So and I see that Kit Cooper and Joe Locke are going to be producers on it.
Nice.
And so it will all wrap up. It's going to begin shooting this summer. I'm kind of bummed about that, but I also feel like this will be a nice, tidy ending for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sad to see it go, but it's like they can't play teenagers forever, So
right, Kit Cooper playing Romeo on Broadway. At this
exactly,
point. He's mature stuff.
At some point, that was good. Well, I mean, Romeo technically is a teenager too, but
that's true.
At some point they were going to age past it, so it's like, all right, let's give it one last hurrah, and then send them off into the world.
Yes. Angel asks, do you plan to watch Adolescence? These realistic British series of late are great. I watched Adolescence. I watched it over spring break with my son for feel-good viewing together in between skiing. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that I saw it, and I'm glad that I watched it with him. Nick is 15, so he's a little bit older than the character here. But I, of course, am always a sucker for a long single take. I was blown away by the craft of it. That 3rd episode where it all takes place in the interrogation room is a stunner. And the fact that this kid has never acted before, I don't know how he did it. It's like pages and pages of dialogue, and it's highs and lows. And so that was great. And I, of course, love the end of episode 2. That drone shot at the end of episode 2 is really cool. So yeah, I don't know, Alonso, if you're going to get a chance to ever see it. I know things are time-wise weird for us right now.
Yeah, it's on my list to get to. I would like to see it, but I just have not had a chance to yet.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And everyone had told me, like, you're going to love it as the mother of a teenager, as someone who likes long single takes, and I really, really did. I thought it was great, and I think it's a good conversation starter if you have teenagers of your own at home. Nick and I had a good talk about social media and social pressure, and I'm thankful that he is not on social media at all and does not want to be, but it's not the kind of thing that you can avoid forever. So
sure.
There you go. What else is next? TCM Festival has begun. Alonso, please tell us about this.
Yeah, I went last night for opening night. Our dear friend Ben Mankiewicz had a nice on-stage interview with Mr. George Lucas, which was a lot of fun. George Lucas tells fascinating stories that veer off into a million directions. So Ben was trying his best to get an answer to a question, but nonetheless, just kind of went with it. But no, it was really entertaining. And then they screened The Empire Strikes Back on the big, beautiful screen at the main TCL Chinese Theater. So that was pretty fabulous. And then, it's going on throughout the weekend. They're doing some really cool, they're premiering some restorations. They're showing 2 VistaVision films from back in the day in VistaVision. So you know how when you're shooting VistaVision, it goes through the camera horizontally. And then normally what happens is they would then transfer that to a regular 35 print that goes through the projector vertically. But there is a way to screen films in VistaVision where, like IMAX 70, it goes through the projector sideways. And they're screening Gunfight at the OK Corral and We're No Angels that way, which is very cool. And then I'm going to be doing a couple things if anybody is in town or going to that. Saturday night, Dave Karger and I are introducing the screening of The Birdcage at, I believe, 6:15 in one of the smaller Chinese theaters. And then on Sunday afternoon at 4:30 at Club TCM at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, I will be signing copies of Hollywood Pride. Alicia Malone will be signing copies of her latest book. Eddie Muller is doing the latest edition of his noir femme fatales book, and another author whose name I'm now forgetting, but who has a book about Hollywood, about title sequences. We'll all be selling. Eddie Brandt bookstore will be no, Larry Edmonds, sorry, Eddie Brandt's in the Valley. Larry Edmonds bookshop will be selling books, and we'll all be signing them. So please come by.
That sounds really, really fun. I've never actually been to the TCM Festival. What makes it special or different?
Well, it's funny. I remember the first year. This is the 16th, by the way. Like they've been doing
Wow.
this for since 2010. I remember when they announced the first one, I was like, well, I mean, we get to see old movies in LA all the time. Like, who's going to go to this? What's the big deal? But I realized it's not for us. It's
Oh,
for people who are fans of TCM from around the country and around the world who want to come to Hollywood and see these movies in these historic movie theaters. So they're at the Chinese, they're at the Egyptian, they're at the El Capitan, and doing these presentations and bringing guests in, directors and actors and whatnot, George Lucas, coming in to talk and stuff. So if you're like a cineast and you live in a city where there maybe isn't a ton of repertory film happening, like this is your, you go all weekend and you're seeing stuff day and night. They're showing a 70 print of 2001. They're showing
cool.
like all that jazz with Ben Vereen, like all these things are happening.
That sounds really cool. Are you going to get to see anything just for fun, or are you just doing the events that you're doing?
I don't know that I'm going to get to it, but like I had a bunch of stuff marked out, but like my schedule's bananas. And also it turns out this weekend, a thing I had planned for some time ago, the director Claude Lelouch in the mid 90s made a version of Les Miserables, not the musical, but an adaptation of the novel, but set during World War II, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo. And it's a movie I loved. One of the first films that Dave and I saw together, and I was a weeping wreck by the end of it. But it's never, after its Laserdisc release, it's never been released on home video in the US. And it's not streaming anywhere. So it's been impossible to see. And it's showing for one day this Saturday at the Royal as part of this Claude Lelouch retrospective, because there's like a new reissue of A Man and a Woman. There's like a new 4K of that, and so they're showing a bunch of his other films as well. So I've already stocked out a 3-hour block on Saturday to see Les Miserables. So I'm unfortunately not going to get to see a lot of other stuff at TCM, but I wish I could.
How was it seeing Empire Strikes Back on that screen?
Pretty breathtaking. I mean, like it was a special edition or whatever. Like my friend who was with me, who knows Star Wars and knows VFX, was like, "Ugh, I hate when I can tell the blah blah blah." But to my dumb eye, like I couldn't tell you like what was always there and what got added later. But no, it's exciting. I mean, there is an element of watching it where you're like, "Oh God, Luke, you're so stupid."
How do you not know?
They're telling you not to go. It's a trap. You're going anyway, And it's like, and if he hadn't have gone, if he'd stayed in the Dagobah system and continued training with Master Yoda, Han still would have been frozen. Leia still would have fled with Lando Calrissian. Like, it doesn't really. Anyway, whatever. It's still fun. It's great to watch. It was a thrill, and especially with a packed theater.
And I think anytime you can see any of the Star Wars, like in a packed theater with people, just like that first blast of the fanfare is so cool. Like it gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, for sure. You feel it right here.
Yeah, it's very good. Something I wanted to look at. Oh, Michael mentioned Havoc, this Netflix movie Havoc.
Yes.
With Tom Hardy, which is out there now. I did not get a chance to see it for radio, but it was on my list to possibly consider. So maybe over the weekend we can watch Havoc and come back and do that on Tuesday.
I'm a huge fan of the Raid movies, and so Gareth Evans plus Tom Hardy, I got to check that out.
Yeah, we'll check it out. And then we are seeing Thunderbolts on Monday night. So we'll have a little out of the theater reaction for you guys about that. And then we'll have a full review of that on Tuesday because the embargo will have lifted by then. So so keep an eye out for all of that stuff. Cool. One last thing I want to mention. If you guys have any questions about anything else, please fire away. But Kristen Stewart married her longtime partner, Dylan Meyer.
She's having a good spring. Her directorial debut is about to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, what is that?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that. I forget what it's called, but I remember it was when she was doing interviews for something a year or two ago, she was literally like, I am going to not make any more movies until I can finally direct a film. And so thankfully she has now directed a film. So, we don't have to worry about her going away as an actress. And it is called The Chronology of Water, which is an adaptation of a memoir by Lydia Yukonovich. It's co-written by Kristen Stewart and Andy Mingo, and the cast includes Imogen Poots, Thora Birch,
Oh,
Jim Belushi,
wow.
Tom Sturridge, Charlie Carrick, Kim Gordon,
Like from Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon?
like from Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon. Yeah. So yeah, very curious about that one.
That sounds interesting. I'll definitely catch up with that one.
But
Um,
Mazel Tov to her wedding too.
Yes, for sure. Yes, her now wife posted all kinds of cute pictures of them kissing and looking happy. So happy for her, definitely. Michael's asking in all caps, Alonso and Christy, do you know if the Alamo with John Wayne has been restored? I heard years ago it was in danger of decay, and the studio did not have any interest in saving it. I don't know anything about it.
I have not heard about that one way or another. I know that was a film that Wayne directed. I don't know. There are so many films right now that are in some stage of hopefully being resurrected, and I'm shocked that a studio wouldn't want to, because I feel like his stuff is so kind of perennially successful. Like this month, I know, for example, I do a monthly home video column for leonardmalton.com, and there are new 4Ks of both Sands of Iwo Jima and Donovan's Reef. So
Oh,
there's a lot of John Wayne stuff floating around. I can't imagine somebody wouldn't want to step up if the elements on Alamo were disintegrating. But I'm not tuned in enough to know exactly like what the status is on that one.
yes. Thank you for that. Great. Good to see you guys. And we're going to wrap up because we've got a whole bunch to do. We're going to do a review of The Accountant 2 after this. We still have to do our recaps of The Handmaid's Tale and The Studio. There's just so much. There's so much television. And then in a couple of weeks, Poker Face is back. We'll be doing that as well. So we're trying to get to all of this while things are kind of weird on my end, schedule wise. We're going to do our best to get to them. We will definitely have another movie news live for you next Friday. That is May 2nd. So definitely doing that. And then from there, I don't know. From there, I don't know how we're going to be feeling, how things are going to be on this
what
end.
you get after that.
Right. I hate to let anybody down, but I also have to have surgery. So
Yes.
I will do what I can, and we'll keep you guys posted either way for sure. So if you've not already subscribed to our Patreon, it's patreon.com/BeFastAllDay to get all those TV recaps. If you are already a member at our lunch date level, the next lunch date is this Monday at noon. This is where we meet up live with our people and talk about movies and what's going on in our lives. It's a really good group. It's a little more sort of like intimate live chat than this. So you can find out more about that on the membership tab of the Patreon. So thanks for being here through all of it. I really, really appreciate all of you guys so much.
Have a good one, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you guys soon. And thanks to all of you for all your kind words. See you guys soon.
Thanks.
Bye.